Ah, I see. It really was my clubhouse academia all along. Thank you to our final patrons, Sinners Lancelot, Praise the Sun, Strawbones, and Aaron. Now, before we hop into this breakdown / live reaction to chapter 364 of My Hero Academia, please leave your comments on the chapter in the comment section down below, leave a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. You can support for as low as $1 a month to get like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Now, let's hop into the live reaction. Hello there. My name is that guy with a pencil. Or a few. However, I come to you today with great fear in my heart. A fear that, unfortunately, was well precedented and hopefully is unfounded. Today, I would like to show you something. Here I have a hammer. This hammer in particular typically denotes worthiness as of the latent popularity of a certain reimagining of a deity. Notably, this hammer usually is alone on determining whether a chapter is valid or not, or I suppose you could say worthy. Now, hypothetically, I always wondered what I would do if a chapter wasn't worthy. And while I would usually ring this hammer so it would call to the heavens from whence it came, I've decided for this chapter in particular, and maybe other chapters in the future, would have a different connotation. If a chapter failed beyond expectations. However, I hope this chapter does not. I've heard many a thing, but just know this. Pray to whatever mangaka you believe in that I need not light this blade. I hope we have an understanding. What's up, guys? I've got the pencil here, and here we are to do a live reaction to chapter 364 of My Hero Academia. There's some spicy things this week. So spicy, I'm gonna take a sip, you know what I'm saying? Sip down, I'm ready. I'm hoping that what I heard was falsified, maybe exaggerated, but, you know, we'll never know until we hop into it. So, let's hop into the chapter with a nice, meaty, editing me. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. Shigaraki seized the quirk-destroying drug, which was secretly manufactured by the I'm not sure if I can say that. As soon as he gave some to me, I immediately attempted to reproduce it. The original came from a person's quirk. Isn't that just fascinating? Reverses causality, just like you said. Throughout the process of the creation, I focus on its original effect rather than the quirk-destroying bullet. I guess. Makes sense. And to be fair, I know this is just the justification for why All For One can get a nice juicy glow up, nice and young, know what I'm saying? I get it. And to be fair, like all the copy quirks that we saw previously with Dr. Garaki were all liquid, and we know the bullets from the whole overall arc also had liquid in them, so it's not exactly too shocking that the original quirk properties, since they're literally made from Eri, would have the original effect of her quirk latent enough in there that Garaki, who could do anything, could replicate it. So I'm not even mad at this. And you know, really, as a person who always feared Eri, and still does, but always feared Eri in terms of what she meant for the narrative, I am happy that this Chekhov's gun is being fired in the opposite direction. Notably, I thought Eri would be used to get characters out of pinches, out of plot situations, like, oh no, a character is injured beyond repair. It would be amazing if we had a character that could hypothetically just reverse causality. You know? It'd be great if we just had Orihime in the series. Just temporarily, though. And also make her, like, a third of her age. No reason. We just don't want her to be too broken. until we give her back her quirk to such an extreme degree that she can specifically restore the quirk of another individual that was erased by her quirk. It's whatever. Shh, don't worry about it. But no, in all seriousness, I am happy that Eri is being used in the negative sense now that All for One is here to do the general unaliving of a large group of individuals. But regardless of that, it's interesting that Garaki says you can only use this once. So once you are freed, it'll surely help you achieve your dream. You only use it once? Why not? Like, what? Could you just make him the quirk? And if so, couldn't he just, I don't know, turn it off? Like, I think Eri can turn off her quirk. I don't think it's majorly complicated. Couldn't you have practiced with this? Like, is it the original effect rather than the curse quirk? So I guess he couldn't get, the real quirk sauce out of it, but he could get the concept of the quirk, so reversing causality. So essentially, in the case of All for One, reversing aging and damage, but he couldn't get the quirk itself. So I guess that's why this is a one-time use. He's like, hey, do what you do. But it's interesting. I don't know. It's kind of. I'll let it slide. And once again, it's the limiting of the Chekhov's gun fully to Eri, something that we can actually take off the wall and fire at somebody. Meanwhile, this is sort of I don't have another analogy. It's just not Chekhov's gun. But let's move on. So we do get to see. Oop. Ugh. Oh no. Really, bro? Just in case, should anything happen after your jailbreak, I'll be sure to leave this here. To tell you the truth, your voice, your eyes, and your smile are so precious to me. I sincerely hope that hatred will not dwell in your heart. Interesting. I wonder. Interesting. I mean, it makes it that's the thing though. The parallels between All Might and All for One were so good because they were meant to be mentors that would pass on their legacy to their people. And one of the biggest things about All Might that people love and recognize is his smile, his hair, everything, his appearance, and what makes All Might outside of the fact that he literally just saves people. So it would make sense that if the pinnacle of good would have certain features that pertain to their face and their general appearance, such as their voice and their hair and whatever, that would make them notable. Of course, their opposite would have the same thing. Nice. And it's cool to see that Garaki, at the end of all things, really was just an All for One stan. A lot of the fandom became after they saw All for One's face. Y'all know something else. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm like that. I don't even blame y'all though. That man is. Someone get him some pants. Get him some pants. That boy, he got gains, yo. How come his younger brother had no gains? Then again, he was starving himself. The first One for All wielder, the origin of One for All, was indeed starving themselves. So maybe that's why they didn't have no gains. But golly gee, Willikers, I can see. Look at the definition. Look at the game. Look at the gains. Golly gee, Willikers. That's wild. Take pride in Endeavor. I never thought I'd have to use this against someone like you. Bro literally said, you ain't the main character. I didn't think I had to pull this power out. That's crazy. Yo, imagine that. Imagine you're the number one of whatever ranking in your verse, and the main villain is you ain't the main character. You ain't even what I'm after. But you know what? Just for you. Just because I think you're special, I'm gonna use my trump card. It's a backhanded compliment, obviously. Take pride, Endeavor. You have gains. But also, I didn't think you would have enough gains that I need to use it. So I feel like it's more compliment than backhanded though, because then again he's gonna slaughter him. So it's really I'm not even sure if it really is more compliment than backhanded if he's oh yeah, this trump card means your death, by the way. Fun fact, you're gonna perish. I guess it's a mix. It's a balance, perfectly balanced as all things should be. Though I will admit that is a very, very fire design. I like it, especially the way Aries magic quirk nonsense is rotating around him, and you see the burn slowly fading away. I like it. I'm not sure if that's just a cloud behind him or if he's literally supposed to be steaming, because a lot of times, just in anime in general, I'd say, and not even in anime, I think a lot of times in comics, healing, because it's I guess it's a hot process. I don't know. Unless anyone wants to tell me, y'all secretly immortal. I ain't never seen someone just like a whole limb back in seconds. But like, think about it: Attack on Titan and this and Marvel Comics with Wolverine. Like, pretty much every person who has the like button and subscribe button being free, like we do here. So please hit that if you enjoying the video so far. But everyone who has like some sort of like quick healing factor, they always steam whenever they regenerate. So I like the hypothetical implication that cloud behind him is literally his body releasing steam from then again, it's reversing causality. So is he like, I wonder how does that count? Does that count as like really healing? I guess it does, reversing causality, because age is pain. So I guess reversing age would count as some sort of thingamajig. He's rejuvenating. That goes physical. Nope. Shock horror, Endeavor. You don't say. The man who was blind, had no eyes, and looked like a burnt potato head suddenly has eyes and hair now. Maybe he would be reverting to his prime self. Thanks for letting us know. Couldn't tell. Could not. Full years of battle experience as either a full pro hero or a UA student. Could never be able to tell that. Thank you for letting me know. I'm clowning on Endeavor like he's not my favorite character. But I think that's why I have to clown on him. But that's Aries. Oh, it's... I like the... Hold on. I like that. I like how the person who immediately recognizes what the origin of that is Tokoyami. A character who would... But then again, how the heck does he know about that? Was he there? Okay. I was about to praise that. Because, like... You know, Eri came to Class 1A. The main incident that pops up, I say incident like it's a bad thing. The main occurrence that pops up in my head is the Christmas thing where she came as Santa Eri. And also she went to the Culture Festival. Those are the two main reports that happened in my head in terms of like when Eri met Class A. But when did she ever display her power to them? Because I'm thinking never. Like legitimately. When? When? Like, when? To the fact that Tokoyami, like, if this was Kirishima, if this was Asui, if this was any of the big three, if it was Midoriya, if it was Uraraka, like, people who were there and literally watched Midoriya somehow not get erased out of existence, I could understand that. But Tokoyami, when did you see her power? And to be fair, consider this like a kind of empty critique. I'm much more happy of the reference to the fact that Eri meant Class 1A, and that's why Tokoyami references it, even if there's no real reason in the narrative why he should, because I don't think she was practicing around them. I think she was, as Oceans put it, torturing lizards, like off-screen, like either off-screen or with the big three. I don't think there was ever a time where she was like, hey, let's rip lizard tails off. Lizard? Ruh-roh, Shaggy. But regardless... It's a minor thing. I'm sorry, but it just caught my eye. Ooh, I love how forceful it is. It sounds so wrong, but I love how like dominating the new All for One feels. Like he's moving with a lot more purpose than his old potato head self did. Like. Before, he would have gently floated to the ground in that masterful villain pose. But no, when he's reverting back to his prime, he's allowed a lot more physicality. And he's even noting it. He's like, ugh, this is bad. My body is as light as silk. Like he's just enjoying it. And that's the thing. I always praise this whenever I see it in any sort of fiction, I guess, because you don't really see it in real life. But whenever a character is superhuman and they do those slight superhuman things, like he just drops to the ground and, well, I'm not sure if he lands in the shot, but he drops and he's just ready to land. He's so fluid in his superhuman motions. It feels tangible in the best way possible. And it's an automatic shift from the All For One we knew before. I like it. It's a great way to give this prime version of him a lot of weight and a lot of credit, considering we never got to see it. Like, the main difference probably between like a Prime All Might and the All Might we saw in Kamino, obviously other than the fact that he didn't have one for all and a whole bunch of other stuff, but is the amount of physicality he could use. Like we have some flashbacks like young Prime All Might, but there's not much difference in how he fights. But with All For One, I can definitely see with a younger, lighter, less encumbered body, bro could go crazy. But apparently that's bad. Let's see why. What? Oh my. He moves so quickly. I love how it's movement. I don't think he used the quirk there. He just fast. He landed, and I bet, and I'm not sure if they'll show it in the anime. I love stupid artist things again, but I love it when you see, like, in anime sometimes what they'll do if a character is like has gains, they will show you their muscles contracting in their one foot and they will burst, or like the one leg when they do a burst like that, and you can tell All For One went boom boom, like just straight burst through it. And I love it. I love the way Horikoshi drew that. And this poor heroine, I mean, I'm not sure, poor hero or heroine, they just got blitzed, their quirk stolen, and their fit stolen all in one. Can you imagine that? Can you, like, see, the great thing about My Hero Academia is that I can't get mad at any of the characters who left, because, like, would you want that to be you? I mean, to be fair, he doesn't necessarily, he takes her quirk, but I don't necessarily see her, like, perishing or anything like that. Like, he doesn't, like, tear her head off and take her quirk mid-move like a real demon would. No, but he doesn't do that. He just takes her quirk, and maybe he doesn't. Whose clothes are like? I thought he took her clothes, but I can't really. Oh, he took her cape. Ah, okay. So we can wait. And I'll take that cape if you don't mind. I don't look good, Nate. I bet a lot of the like, you know, I ain't even a lot of the fandom, but like, oh, for one, you low-key built, bro. Like I ain't got the gains like that. Like, if you, I can imagine what I look like, but like, golly, Jim Willikers, man, you little shy, you little, come on, stay positive. But we do get to, okay, this rewind. Now that I've used it, I'll eventually disappear and die. Hori, it's too late, man. I mean, it's not. I know exactly why he did this too. Then what? I'll talk about it now. If we have time, let's talk about it now. The biggest thing that I wondered when the All For One twist was revealed in the war arc is, how do you expect Midoriya to deal with two bodies? Like, two bodies of All For One. Like, what was the thing? The best thing about the Midoriya and Shigaraki parallel before it got absolutely broken apart, and now Shigaraki is just a victim who needs to be saved because I'm itching to reach for that lightsaber. But regardless, the thing that worked about it beforehand is that their mentors bowed out, which meant that while Shigaraki and Midoriya were eventually, no matter what the story would try to tell you, no matter what lies Horikoshi would try to peddle you, there was no way for anyone to reach the apex of creation like Midoriya and Shigaraki were going to by the end of series. They had the best quirks in the series. Sorry, plot twist. If you thought any other character was going to be relevant, if any of the previous couple chapters have been surprising to you in terms of the All For One, I mean, I'm surprised that Endeavor did as good against All For One as he did. But in terms of like the Shigaraki battle and the All For One battle, the fact that these guys are just different, not shocking to me at all. That's why I'm so confused why Hori brought All For One back, at least in his main body. Like, I'm confused why he made All For One the main villain in the end anyway, if the whole story was going to be the greatest hero against the greatest villain that then let their kids... they're essentially their kids. That essentially let their kids come up and play greatest hero and greatest villain, and they were meant to clash at the very end. Don't know why you bring All For One back in the first place, but that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time about how All For One kind of killed the series. But if you were going to bring him back, and you were going to specifically meet Puppet Shigaraki anyway, why have the original body out and about at all? Because, I'm sorry, there's no way you could have wrote that. Like, I fancy myself a writer. I'm something of a writer myself, not a good one. I'm more than honest enough. I'm not even gonna call myself humble. I'm just honest enough to know I ain't to near caliber of a good writer. But what I can say is that I tried to write a scenario based off of there being 2 all-for-one bodies, like the fact that there are 2 buttons that are free, the like button and subscribe button, and I just couldn't figure out how to. Because I couldn't figure out a way to make it so that Midoriya could win. Because he can't. How are you going to beat 2 final bosses at once? And I think Horikoshi, he may have taken a whiff to think that hypothetically he could do it. And maybe that's what Endeavor's whole role was supposed to be, to take out the other main body somehow. Even though, personally, if you had asked me before their battle, there was nothing on Earth that I thought Endeavor, of all characters, was going to do to all for one. Bro was struggling against one high end. Nah, I'm kidding. I know he got stronger from that. But still, like, never would have asked me. And I think Hori realized here, now that last chapter was essentially just, everything went bad. Like, and that's fine. You know, but obviously you can't keep the 2 bodies around, especially if one is in its prime, or both of them are in their primes. So you have to get rid of one. You have to get rid of one, and relative, like, even if Endeavor somehow manages to burst through, unlock blue flames, then again, I think he has those. I think he does have those. I'm remembering one movie scene, but I'm not sure if that's canon. But regardless, even if Endeavor somehow pulls through, unleashes ultimate gains, and really defeats us all for one, it was pointless, because you're going to fade away into non-existence anyway. So why bring him back? Like, did Hori just realize it? I'm assuming Hori just realized his mistake. Like, I'm not going to lie. I don't think there's anything more complicated to it. I think Hori realized, oh, wait, I can't write a story with 2 all-for-ones. Darn. Let's take him out. And he took him out in this way. I honestly would have preferred if you just let him die to Endeavor. To be fair, when those reviews of those chapters drop, you will know how I feel about that and how I feel mixed on it. But that would have been better than just bringing him back for no reason, just to kill him again. Like, and we're going to be talking about that hypothetically maybe later, why you would bring a character back if you were just going to get rid of them again anyway, or if it doesn't make sense for them to come back in the case of All for One. But like, in this case of All for One, there was no reason to bring him back if you were just going to get rid of him like this. Especially considering he already had Meat Puppet Shigaraki. If you were going to bring All for One back and destroy your narrative anyway, which you did, Horikoshi, like, once again, we'll talk about that in another video. There was no reason to bring this one back at all. I mean, it's cool. We get a glimpse of Prime All for One. I'm assuming that may have been an arc that Horikoshi at one time wanted to write. Maybe a flashback arc to the Prime of All for One. Maybe we could have gotten to see the villain underworld he once ran. We don't get that in Vigilantes, but I guess we weren't going to get it here either. So this may be why he does this, but I don't think it was worth it. I really don't. But we'll see. I'm sorry. I went on a whole rant about how I don't like All for One being in the narrative and wondering why Horikoshi would just kill him. But personally, long story short, if you want a reason for why I think he's bringing All for One back like this, only to kill him like this, is because Hori wanted to do a daring writing choice and Midoriya go up against 2 All for Ones, only to realize late into the story that he did not know how to write it so that Midoriya could beat 2 All for Ones. So he decided to give it to Endeavor, so Endeavor could have a nice little character thing and get rid of All for One. Yet at the same time, he didn't want to let All for One go out like a punk, so he decided to let All for One come back just to destroy himself. Seems really counterintuitive, but hey, I ain't Horikoshi. I ain't a professional manga writer, and my art's nowhere near as good as his. So I'm just here complaining about it. But let's hop right back into it. But like a baton, my dream has been passed on to Tomura Shigaraki. That's a lie. You're meat puppeting him right now. You'll have to allow me to fulfill my remaining task of rescuing him from this insolent trap of yours. The most self-destructive super enhancement Endeavor-san can get. If Endeavor-san can get one more blow, your dream, huh? Are you talking about after you obtain one for all? I have to buy time. Why don't you fill us in for future reference? It's simple, really. I was influenced by that. Okay. One, Maybe this is a translation thing. I'm gonna have to check the official translation when it drops. Why is he saying that this is all like the jig is up, buddy? I think everyone knows you're meat puppeting Shigaraki. Bro literally showed up in a suit to the Stars and Stripes fight. When have we seen Shigaraki ever? We've seen Shigaraki wear a suit, but he did not like it. But essentially, dude, it's like reading Kamino after the war arc all over again. Why are you lying? Like, why you always lying? Nah, but my dream has been passed on to Tomer Shigaraki. This is All For One's dream. This hand is All For One. This hand is also All For One, but in a slightly younger body. This is the dream. Bro, you pass it to yourself. There's no reason to keep up the facade of Tomura if you're literally meat puppeting him. I don't get why. It's not like these people are gonna like, I get why, and once again, this is a weird thing where I get the narrative reason behind it, but I get the fan reason behind it. I don't get the narrative reason behind it. Like, the external reasoning why you would say this is because there's been a lot of backlash about All For One randomly showing up and taking over Shigaraki. At least from the community side I see. I'm not sure how Japan necessarily feels about this, because I'm not in that community. I do not know much about it. But I don't know. The common consensus in... maybe it's not common. I don't know. I'll admit, I'm not super deep into the fandom. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people are unhappy with All For One switching his tune and suddenly taking over Shigaraki. So the reason Horikoshi did this is to try to sort of like, if this is properly translated, we'll see, flip fan expectation and be like, oh wait, maybe he did hand it over to Shigaraki. Maybe he didn't decide to kill his entire narrative out of nowhere. And now he's gonna let All For One's original body die so we can finally get this thing that already happened over like 200 chapters ago. That's what I'm assuming. I can see the fan reasoning behind that. But in narrative, it makes no sense for All For One to be saying that when he knows his whole plan, as he revealed himself and is currently doing, is to meet puppet Shigaraki. Fuse with Shigaraki so he can get his hate, but meet puppet Shigaraki. So, I don't know. But, no, my favorite thing is... sorry. My favorite thing about All For One is how he's like, oh yeah, I just did this because I like comic books. I have no other reason. Comics are cool, though. Go read them. Like, that's the only reason he did it. And it's so deliciously petty that I don't even want a different motivation for him. I like that he's just evil. I just thought Shigaraki was more interesting and also fit into the narrative better. And it was also one of the best dynamics in New Gen until you decide to just undynamic it. But Horikoshi, you do you. Once again. And I always, like, whenever I throw critiques out, I always feel bad because, like, I am not a mangaka. It is not my job to get these chapters out every single week. It's not my job to uphold the fan base. It's not my job to do a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what Horikoshi does. So take all my critiques as, like, I love the series, and I would like it to what I would think is better, but I don't have to be right. I don't. And I'm probably not. Who knows? We'll see. But I don't know. I'm just so kind of just, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, which I think will be a theme of this chapter. But in this world full of countless cultures and values, it is action that is frowned upon and loathed by everyone. It is something that obstructs the future you envision. And that's why, you see, I want to obstruct the future of this world. That's all. That's all I've ever wished for. Did you want to rule it? Don't you want to rule it? Like, now? As a villain would? Like, you're taking it into the future you would want. You aren't keeping it the same. You just spitting gibberish, bro? Like, I don't know, unless there's a new motivation. I get it. Like, a villain gets in the way of the heroes. But, I don't know, in my Clubhouse Academia, I'm sorry, but in My Hero Academia, like, I thought your goal was to literally just take over the world and rule over it as the one true demon lord, like you said all those chapters ago at the Prison Break. But I guess not. You just want to obstruct the world. You want to stop it from progressing. But wouldn't you want it to progress into the future that you want? Whatever. I don't know. All For One is kind of just going crazy. The United States, whoa, we are talking about a leap. United States of America, Washington, D.C. Now is the time to strike. If we don't put a stop to Tomura now, our country will be in danger. Depends on how you view the crisis. If we're already half a step further into the red zone than all other countries, it's your fault, Timothy Apgar. Okay. According to a report from our specialized agency for quirks, Tomura has reached a point beyond human control. In other words, no matter what happens to him, he's untouchable. And towards a monster like him, we bared our fangs in the form of stars and stripes and those missiles. You're saying we should... Ministers of the developed nations have already been scrambling to see who can gain Tomo's trust. Thinking about how we'll be ruled over is ridiculous. It's damage control. We have to wait for the right time to strike. If we allow ourselves to be controlled even just this once, we'll be robbed of everything we have. Tim. It's for the future of our country. Okay. We cannot allow that to be our future. See, that's the thing, right? We're talking about a future. We're talking about a future here, right? A future controlled by all for one. So what does he mean by obstructing? He wants to obstruct I guess he's obstructing the future. Let me double check. See, the word obstruct means to block, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't mean change. Like if he said hypothetically, that's why you see, why I want to guide the future of this world. That would make sense. It would fit into his established motivations and fit with what he wants to do. Hypothetically, control the entire world. But obstructing the future and not changing the future, two very different things. But once again, this may all just be a translation thing. I need to double check. I don't know. This chapter seems to have weird translation stuff anyway. But who knows? Maybe I'm just wrong. Is it your position that's making you say that, Mr. Apgar? Oh, shoot, Eli went up. What did Star... Oh, always reaching for something. What did Star fight for? What did... Ooh. Have you not forgotten, have you? You know what? I haven't forgotten the fact that the like button is free and so is the subscribe button. So, hit those. Thank you. But, boys and girls grow up watching the adults. The adults support them in turn, and they become connected. Look at the gains on Stars and Stripes, bro. Too bad she was a nothing character who did nothing and has no value to the narrative. I'm not happy about that, but another thing I gotta say. Fun fact. When I say a character is a nothing character, that doesn't mean I'm happy about it. It usually means I'm disappointed. Like, there's some characters where I'll say they're a nothing character, and I'll be happy about it, or I'll be... Well, the other thing is what I usually am sad. Like, I'm sad Cassie's a nothing character that got brought in to do nothing. Literally nothing. We do not know the quirks she erased, and we do not know anything else. That's the only thing she supposedly did. She erased some quirks. Oh, well. She didn't even loosen the grip of control. That was the quirk's own free will. She's a worthless character. She has a great design, an amazing power, but overall worthless. And that makes me sad. I'll make a whole video on wasted characters in My Hero Academia. We'll see about that. But then those once children do the same for the next generation. Yeah. Isn't that why heroes wield their power? Ah, okay. So we're just building up to this. I was wondering why we cut over to America. That was such a random thing to do. Like, oh no, the other countries aren't helping? It's not like this wasn't established 30 chapters ago. Ooh. But isn't that why heroes wield their power? Edgeshot. That's right. I'm a ninja hero who can sneak in anywhere. I've crept into so many bodies that I'm familiar with it all. Yeah, okay. So it's true. What I saw is true. Like, I'd give up. Mirko, struggle. If your head's all that's left, bite him. Just stop. It's useless. Yeah. Shigaraki spitting. Or all for Shigaraki spitting. Oh, is that the first time we've seen his hair? Huh. I mean, I guess maybe he couldn't do it at that angle? Huh. I think that's the first time we've seen Shigaraki's hair, like, have linings in it again. Usually, it's been, like, this. But I don't know. Maybe. Interesting. I get why, though, because it's a white background, and maybe Hori didn't just feel like drawing a splatter there. We'll see. Alright. I, Edgeshot, cannot accept this. Stopped heart. It's a life we cannot afford to lose. You can still make it. I'll fill in whatever he's lacking and move for him. Ooh, that's creepy. You can't come back from this. Now I'll leave the rest of you. President Hakamada. Until 1,000 sheep pierce extreme, I'll become his heart. Heroes connect to the future. Now, for those who were waiting, and those who plan to leave, I place down the baton of the future. It would pains me to do this. What a great pain indeed. Now, for the sake of my sound quality, I will not keep it on. But we have a lot to talk about. So, how do I start? First off, technically this does not confirm that Bakugo is going to come back. Technically it doesn't. The chapter ends here, so it is not an 100% confirmation that Bakugo is going to return. This procedure could fail. But as the My Hero Academia community, the Black Clover community, because I always know that I was about to get super serious. My Clubhouse Academia, My Hero Clubhouse, My Mickey Academia. Like, I'm sorry. It's like Boku no Mickey Academia. Like, My Goofy Academia. Y'all went crazy. And to be fair, I don't blame y'all Black Clover fans, because I'll still, like, to be fair, I like Black Clover a lot. I caught up on it this year, so I'm not too deeply invested in it. Same thing with Bleach. But the thing, I haven't really talked about the whole Bleach controversy and why it's on Disney Plus and whatever. But I would admit, and that's why I do love being caught up and, like, week by week experiencing stuff with the fandom, in the fandom and stuff like this, because these are priceless moments that are gonna be lost to time. Like, 5 years down the line, when My Hero Academia is finished and Black Clover is finished, and some dude just picks it up at their local manga store and just reads it, like, they're never gonna go through this. So I'm happy that we're here to, like, document this time because it's hilarious. But I'll give y'all credit. Y'all wasted no time. And the general assumption that's been made by me, by My Hero Academia fandom at large, and the Black Clover fandom, and any other fandom had the Disney ready, like on stat had the Disney ready. We were all waiting and prepared, because the moment we heard this, it was like, Lord help. And the thing is, right? I said this before, I'll say it again. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. But I also called it. Like, I remember 2 weeks ago when I did the live reaction to Bakugo's supposed bye-bye. I didn't, and no, I've said it many times in videos before, but if you're new here, please stick around. Also hit the like button, subscribe button. But that'd be great. I noted in that video that Bakugo is one of my favorite characters. Yes. Like, Endeavor's #1. Bakugo's a top 5 MHA character for me. Easy. Like, seriously, I don't think there's any competition. Like, he may be a top 3. But y'all see, I didn't necessarily have a reaction to his supposed death. I didn't believe it. Because I didn't trust the Horikoshi. I knew he didn't have the gall. And once again, this could fail. I could be wrong. And as much as I'm happy that I can say I told you so to the few people that didn't believe me when I said Bakugo was going to be fine, which I did tell you so, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope this fails. Like, I hope Edgeshot just dies, and it, just like Stars and Stray, dies, did nothing. I hope Edgeshot dies and it does nothing. Being completely honest. And I love Bakugo. But the main thing that has me so, like, disappointed about his death, once again, as you can probably tell by my demeanor, as goofy as I would, like, the lightsaber and the hammer and stuff like that, like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Like, Horikoshi, I have a question. And this relates back to the whole, like, all for one thing earlier in the chapter. Why? what does bringing Bakugo back do for your narrative? What does it do for his character? Does it do anything? Is there a reason he needs to come back other than the meta reason that people love Bakugo? He's been #1 in multiple popularity polls. He's a fan favorite pretty much in every part of the fandom, everywhere. You see him left, right, and center. Dude's probably just as, if not more popular than Midoriya, our hero MC. And obviously, offing him, that's horrible, right? Imagine the reactions of people like, you can't, no, our boy. Like, now I'm not talking about just the shippers. I'm talking about everybody. It doesn't even look good for merch. Like, no one's gonna buy a Funko Pop on Bakugo laying on the ground with his All Might card next to him. But you know what people would buy a Funko Pop of? Revived Bakugo. Like, I get the meta reasoning behind it 100,000%. And I don't even blame Horikoshi. I know people are a little un poco loco. So I get it why you would bring him back. Because fear. Like straight up, some of the time the characters in the fandom, it's kind of notorious for things. It probably wouldn't go over too well, just in general. So maybe it wouldn't be the safest move. I ain't even mad at you for that. But on the narrative level, on the character level, who's Edgeshot? You may think I'm kidding, but how many of you know Edgeshot's real name? Don't Google it. Don't Google it. Don't you Google it. Because shoot, hold on, I need to Google it. Because shoot, I don't even know. Like, this is a point I was planning to make before I saw the video. Because I've had 3 days to think about these leaks. And these drop Wednesday. I'm on the internet. Unfortunately, I can't avoid stuff like this. But, like, who's Edgeshot? Because a big thing that I've seen. Because, hey, I'm a 7 Deadly Sins fan. Do you know how much copium I have to huff weekly? Do you know how much pain Akuma puts me through? Do you know how much I need to just breathe? Like, I am, there's a whole tank just off camera. Trust me. And the tank is twice my size. Like, the copium I have to inhale on a weekly basis for one series I enjoy. Trust me. So when the attacks started, when the Clubhouse theme began to play, and all the edits started dropping, obviously the MHA fandom came with copium with the quickness. And admittedly, it's a lot in reaction to the Black Clover fandom, but I don't want to spoil what caused the whole Black Clover controversy, because I don't like to do that. But then again, I'm not the best at that. So maybe I will spoil it right now. Here. No, I'm kidding. But the thing is, a big coping thing that has to do with this, the reason I asked you who Edgeshot is because a big thing I'm seeing is like, oh, this isn't like My Clover Academia. My Black Clover. Nah, but it isn't like that because we're sacrificing someone. We're sacrificing a known popular character, Edgeshot. But I asked, who's Edgeshot? Who out of all, and like, no, I know Miruko's real name, Mirko. Rumi Usu, I don't know how to say the last name, but Rumi Usugayama. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a mean with that. I just don't know how to say the last name. Usagiyama. There we go. Usagiyama. I'm pretty sure. Rumi Usagiyama. That's Maruko's real name. Best Genius. I actually don't know his real name, but I think Best Genius would have been a better sacrifice here if you had to sacrifice somebody. Because at least, like, he's relevant to Bakugo. And to be fair, Edgeshot is relevant to Bakugo. He helped save Bakugo, but so did Best Genius. So did, did Best Genius? Yeah, Best Genius did. So did Mountain Lady. So did so many other characters. I think I even know Mountain Lady's real name. That's just because I think I recently watched something about her. No, I was watching Ocean's podcast. I think they mentioned her real name. Or I Googled her for some... Yes, I remember why. Because I needed her real name for the What If Midoriya Was Confident script. I needed it for that. That's why I know her real name, but I can't even remember it right now. But essentially, long story short, Edgeshot is a nothing character. So in the same way, I'm going to spoil a bit of Black Clover. Cover your Clover ears. Cover your Mickey ears, everybody. But in the same way that the Golden Dawn dying means nothing to anyone, so does Edgeshot dying. That's the main thing. Like, and I'll give some people this. When I last 2 weeks ago, I said, "Oh, no one dies in My Hero Academia. It doesn't really matter." People were very, very quick, and I even conceded. All right, Twice died, Night Eye died, and Midnight died. 3 named characters, and I'll admit, I'm just mean about Twice's death. Like, Twice is a valid death that had good build-up, great execution, and does wonders for multiple characters. But I just didn't care because, like, I agreed with Hawks. Like, Twice had to go. Night Eye, I made a whole video about the failure of Night Eye's death. Because it's worthless. Once again, I asked I recently watched Ocean's. I keep bringing up Ocean's because he's a great YouTuber. If you don't know Ocean's, go watch Ocean's. But he was with Ian Waffles and he was talking about the overall arc, and there was a line in there, and the video is so long that I know I won't remember it. I won't remember to put the timestamp in or edit it, but they said something along the lines of, "Night Eye is a great character, but I won't remember him." That's how I feel about Night Eye. I feel like I don't even think he was a great character. I feel like he was a nothing character, but in the general consensus, non-memorable. His death didn't matter. And who's Midnight? Who's Midnight? Other than the fact that the artists of the other variety that wield a different kind of pencil, if you know what I'm saying, they love Midnight. They go crazy with Midnight in multiple ways. But, like, who is Midnight as a character? Who is she? Essentially, the reason I was so confident about Bakugou not coming back is because, I was confident about Bakugou coming back and not really dying, is because he was too important. We know who Bakugou is. He's the Deuteragonist. I'm sorry. This ain't Chainsaw Man. This is not a seinen. This is not regular writer. This is not anything where we can, bam, a major character and just have to live with it. I can tell that. And I was right. But I hope to be wrong, and I hope this fails. Because the main issue I have with this, at the end of all things, is that I don't know what Hori's to do with Bakugou. I think Bakugou ending in death was beautiful. And it feeds into pretty much every theme, every major theme that the whole story is based on. Sacrifice, heroism, not all men are created equal, the greater good, everything was put into Bakugou's death. He even had a beautiful moment where he had the visitation from All Might. All Might was like, "Big rips, homeboy, deuces," and like, bam, it was perfect. And the reason I say that is because what's Bakugou gonna do when he comes back? Die again? Like, unless Edgeshot comes with the most insane and crazy amps, Bakugou isn't gonna suddenly be All Might level. He wasn't before he died. Why is he gonna be after he died? He wasn't able to damage Shigaraki even when he blitzed him. Okay, he's gonna blitz Shigaraki again and then die again. Okay. What? But like, legitimately, what is he doing? That's the main thing that I'm actually wondering. Like, outside of the meta reason that you bring Bakugou back because he's Bakugou, you're a Deuteragonist who makes the buku bucks, and you avoid making a lot of people mad to bring him back. Narratively, character-wise, where's Bakugou's journey go? He already admitted inferiority to Midori. He already apologized to Midori. He already became a way better character. He already did everything. His arc is over. So I always look at Vegeta and Dragon Ball. I'm like, why are you still here, buddy? What? We're just going to have him constantly chasing Midori's shadow? Is it going to be Endeavor 2.0? Oh, wait. Endeavor actually became a fully realized character. And I honestly want his story to end in death as well. But that's for a whole nother reason at a whole different time. But with Bakugou, I see nothing for him. For example, spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 3. The game is now, shockingly enough, 3 years old. It's so weird to say Kingdom Hearts 3 is 3 years old. But Kingdom Hearts 3, right? For all my Kingdom Hearts fans out there, I wish I had to keep, I'm sorry, got reminiscent of something else. But for my Kingdom Hearts fans out there, everyone loves Roxas. If you could find me a single person who doesn't like Roxas, let me know so I can Bakugou them. Except I'm Shigaraki. Nah, but like Roxas, beautiful character, story ended in tragedy. Shion, beautiful character, story ended in tragedy. Both, They didn't die, but they died. You know what happens? Kingdom Hearts 3 brings them back. They are here. They are in the narrative, and there is nothing we can do about it. But you know what? That doesn't necessarily bother me like this does, or not. Once again, disappoint me like this does. Those two actually have like foreseeable futures. They are strong enough to be relevant to the narrative. They have value to be added to the narrative. They have a whole journey they can now undergo. While their tragedy was beautiful, they have places where they can go beyond. They can go help try and save Sora. They can go and become the pseudo Sora to take care of the real reality while Sora is away. They have a whole new journey to discover as individual people who get to live for their own freedoms. They have a dream that they can finally go and reach. Yet Bakugo's dream doesn't exist. But the like button and subscribe button do, so please hit those if you're appreciating this. But Bakugo's dream doesn't exist. He's never going to be better than Midoriya. He can't be. It's impossible. Legitimately. Hey, the story itself. All men are not created equal. And Bakugo, no matter what he does, will never be as strong as Midoriya. And he's already admitted that. And he's already had a character moment that acknowledges all the bad things he did with Midoriya himself. And why are we bringing him back? What are we going to do? You're just going to have him around? Like, it's amazing, right? Because Edgeshot literally says, I'll become corpse. I'll take care of his body. I'll do whatever he can't do. That's all he is. He's a walking meat puppet. Why? Why not just stick to it? At this point, why? Do you think it's... And, like, it's not going to be like this. But how would you... Like, even if Midoriya... say Midoriya comes back, right? How do you think he's going to feel that Edgeshot is now puppeting around Bakugo's dead body? I don't think he'd be very happy about that. I mean, Bakugo may come back as, like, conscious, I guess. But I don't really... personally, I just don't get it. I don't get why you would bring Bakugo back. Do I think... I guess the biggest thing I need to answer is, like, do I think it's Disney? Am I reading my Disney Academia? As Midoriya could come and be like, come get One for All on Disney Plus Ultra Disney. Like, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. And like, and one of the biggest things I do have to say, being Disney is not bad. Fun fact: I'm reading a shonen manga. You know what shonen are for? Young boys. You know what young boys like? Disney. Lion King is still one of my favorite movies of all time, if not my favorite. That's a Disney movie, dog. So little Disney ain't never made nobody, ain't never care. How Disney it is, though? Does the foreshadowing of Edgeshot being able to invade bodies make it better? No. Doesn't. Does the fact that we're sacrificing Edgeshot matter? Nah. It doesn't. Does this make the story worse? Who knows? Maybe it'll fail. Hope so. I hope it just fails. And Horikoshi teased us. I was like, keep them dead. Because I want to be wrong. I do. It's one of the many occasions where I would prefer to be wrong and proven wrong. I hope next Wednesday it drops that Edgeshot stretched a little bit too hard and boom, toward the corpse. That's horrible. That's horrible. But I would love it if that happened instead. Because main issues with this, there's nothing left for Bakugo to do. There's no reason to do this other than being scared of fans and wanting. And no one cares about that shot. If you have any counterpoints to this, if you feel any differently, please tell me down below. I'd be happy to convince otherwise. Once again, in my stances, I'm not very flexible. I'm not gonna lie. But what I do ask of y'all, two things. One, if you made it all the way here, because I'm looking at how long this has been going on. I've been talking for 54 minutes. Golly gee, because my computer's been screaming the whole time. But in this case, if you've gotten all the way here, please put Bakugo Plus down below. And two, tell me what you guys think. Do you think it's good for Bakugo to come back, or do you think it's bad that Bakugo's going to come back? Either one. Just tell me how you feel. I'm legitimately just intrigued. Because I don't like it. And I told you why. I don't think there's any point for his character at this point. I think there's a waste of Edgeshot, a non-character. And I don't see any point. But please tell me what you guys think. If you guys are happy about this, tell me all that in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can get other live reactions just like this one, except for like 4 other series. Depending on the week, like 6 other series. Like, that's crazy. And obviously, this won't always be a live reaction. I just wanted to do this because this is a very pivotal part. So, even this series will only be Patreon exclusive. And you can get that for as low as $1 a month. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil. Writing off.